Ace Magashule and his 15 co-accused will resume in the Bloemfontein High Court today. They are facing charges relating to the alleged irregular awarding of a 255 million rand asbestos roof removal tender in the Free State in October 2014. At their last appearance, the trial was postponed to allow for the extradition of Magashule's former personal assistant, Moroadi Cholota, from the United States. For more on this and what's expected in the courtroom in Bloemfontein today, Samkele Maseko is covering this for us. Nice to see you, Samkele, back on the beat again. Talk to us. What can we expect today?
In essence, what you can expect today is that those whom are representing businessman Edwin Sodi and suspended Secretary-General of the ANC, in fact, the legal team of Edwin Sodi and of Mr. Ace Magashule has just arrived now. My colleague Tula Munare will just show you the legal team as they prepare to go inside court. As you remember, the last court appearance had adjourned due to the extradition processes of Cholota, the former personal assistant of alias Magashule. We've also seen that Mr. Edwin Sodi, businessman who's accused of the over 261 million rands corruption of this trial, has arrived inside court this morning. We are anticipating the arrival of Mr. Ace Magashule, who is also an accused in this case, and all the other accused, particularly the former MEC and the former mayor of the city of Mangaung, who is also Oli Mulamlela, who is also accused within this case. She has not yet arrived. Some of the supporters of Mr. Ace Magashule, such as Mr. Carl Niehaus, they have already arrived here in court. We'll just take a bite from Mr. Carl Niehaus. Mr. Carl Niehaus, back here in court once again. There was adjournment last time around due to the extradition processes of Cholota, the former personal assistant of Mr. Ace Magashule, and also the confusion of whether Cholota is a state witness or a witness of the accused.
Well, as you say, back here again, and it's quite clear that Cholota is not a state witness, and that was a load of nonsense that the National Prosecuting Authority dished up to the court, something which I hope they will still have to answer for.
Mr. Niehaus, when you look at this court case of Mr. Ace Magashule and how it's panned out and how you've seen continuous postponements, as supporters of Mr. Ace Magashule, are you less concerned of how this court case has dragged over the past few years?
I'm deeply concerned about it. It's been dragging on with a very deliberate intention to prevent Comrade Ace Magashule from being able to participate in the management of the African National Congress as the Secretary-General of the ANC in a very, very critical period of the run-up to the national election and national conference that is going to happen in December for the ANC. In addition to that, it is now the intention to prevent Comrade Ace from being able to attend that national conference. Evidently, these postponements have got one intention, and that is to achieve that. That means that the National Prosecuting Authority have allowed themselves to be abused for factional party political reasons. This so-called oversight charge against Comrade Ace Magashule is utter nonsense. It has got no base to stand on. There are no clear charges against him. There's no proper docket against him. And what we see here is a political game being played out that has got nothing to do with justice.
Mr. Niehaus, when you look at the current contemporary politics in the country, the collapse of the Bloemfontein mine dam and the allegations surrounding Mr. Ace Magashule and his involvement within that particular dam, Tutuzane Zuma, as per the testimony of Mr. Tukwana at the State Capture Commission of Inquiry, alleging that the suspended SG, the former premier of the province, is involved in that mine in some way or another.
Well, there you go. The operative word is allegedly in some way or another. And if you believe that Mr. Tukwane is a believable witness with the history that he has, the manner that he has conducted himself also in this province, it is a sad day. I'm not going to speculate about stories, lies and propaganda. Let the events around Jagersfontein unfold. Let the truth come out. Let us not get involved in Stratcom-like propaganda which has been spread about this issue and in general the kind of vilification that we've seen not only of Comrade Ace Magashule but of President Jacob Zuma, of many other people in the African National Congress who are seen as potential opponents to President Cyril Ramaphosa. This is exactly what we have been faced with. The weaponizing of the National Prosecuting Authority and the law enforcement agencies in this country in order to try and run a political campaign for Cyril Ramaphosa. What they should rather do is to deal with the very serious allegations that have been brought against him through charges that had been laid by Mr. Arthur Fraser. The real question that you and other journalists should ask me is, why has Cyril Ramaphosa not yet been arrested and charged for the very clear, well-delineated charges that had been laid against him with regards to the Phala criminal saga?
With all due respect, Mr. Newhouse, we're not here to deal with those Phala issues of the president. We're here to deal with the issues of Mr. Samkele Maseko and Mr. Edwin Sodi. Let us not politicize this current politics. Mr. Newhouse, let us not politicize this discussion. You asking you about Mr. Ace Magashule, issues relating to other individuals will be a totally different platform where we will deal with those matters of Phala and the dollars in the mattresses. Are you not concerned with the level of allegations being shrouded across all political leaders of the ANC, across all of your factions, as you have been accused as a corrupt organization which is led by people whom are plundering the resources of the state?
Samkele, can I answer you now, because you gave me a long political speech yourself? The reality is that it is relevant when there is selective justice, when certain people are being targeted and others not. That is why I raised the issue of Phala, because it is evident that Comrade Ace Magashule and other comrades, also Comrade Sandile Gumede and President Jacob Zuma, are specifically targeted while others are being left off the hook. And that is the relevant issue. That is relevant for this court case, and it is relevant for all the matters that you are referring to. Yes, there are serious allegations that are being made across the board against certain ANC leaders. But those allegations are selectively being dealt with. And those allegations are not being treated with the same urgency by the National Prosecuting Authority and by the South African Police Service. I repeat to you again, it is relevant in this case where Ace Magashule has been arraigned for a flimsy so-called oversight charge. It is relevant when a far more serious charge against Cyril Ramaphosa in terms of the Phala Farmgate scandal has not been dealt with expeditiousness and with seriousness by the National Prosecuting Authority, and where we have a situation that the acting public protector is refusing to publish a report which he should have published in terms of the questions that the real public protector asked in terms of Phala. Why are we having selective justice and a selective approach to how these matters are being dealt with? I've said it before and I'm going to repeat it now. Selective justice is no justice. It is fundamentally injustice.
So in closing, Mr. Newhouse, you are essentially saying that successive ANC administrations and ANC presidents have used law enforcement agencies to their own benefit. President Zuma was accused of the same. President Mbeki was accused of the same by those supporting former President Jacob Zuma. You are accusing Mr. Ramaphosa, the current president, of using the same. So in essence, ANC presidents who are presidents of the country use law enforcement agencies in what you are saying for their own political benefit to persecute those whom are their opponents.
Please don't put words in my mouth. I dealt very specifically with what is happening in this administration and the manner in which Cyril Ramaphosa and those around him are abusing the law enforcement agencies. This is law enforcement abuse on steroids. We have not seen it in any of the other administrations in the same outrageous way. What I would agree with you about is that during the Thabo Mbeki administration and under Bulelani Ngcuka, law enforcement agencies were also abused in order to try and fight the political battles of President Mbeki. And the biggest victim of that was President Jacob Zuma. In the same way that the biggest victim still today continues to be President Jacob Zuma. President Zuma has been subjected to the most outrageous abuse. And our law enforcement agencies, right from the bottom up, right to the Constitutional Court, have been used in order to target President Zuma, not because he's committed so-called certain crimes, but because of his political stance and his commitment to radical economic transformation. The white monopoly capitalists are in control of our courts, they are in control of our law enforcement agencies, and they are pulling the strings of Cyril Ramaphosa. We must cut those strings. Cyril Ramaphosa and those who allow this kind of abuse must go, and they must go now.
Thank you very much, Mr. Kalnihaus. They're accusing the judiciary of being captured and having them pulling what is termed white monopoly capital in Mr. House names, pulling the strings of President Cyril Ramaphosa's administration, and also claiming that there is a political persecution against Mr. Ace Magashule. It's a term we've come to know of ANC leaders when they are faced with legal and political troubles, that they are being criminally prosecuted. And once again, the question of the independence of the NPA within the country. You've seen the NPA being barraged with a lot of politics, accused from the Thabo Mbeki era as president, going on to the era of former President Jacob Zuma, when it was alleged that the NPA had been hollowed out, particularly when you look at the resignation of Advocate Glenys Breitenberg, who is now a member of the Democratic Alliance, alleging that the NPA was concealing a number of high-profile cases and not wanting to prosecute a number of individuals during the era of President Zuma. Now, Kalnihaus alleging that the administration of President Cyril Ramaphosa is abusing law enforcement agencies, and in particular the NPA within the country.